I decided to put this video together to give some insight on the book that I'm currently writing called Yam Suph. We're all very familiar with the Exodus story of Moses and how God called Moses to be able to deliver his people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt from the cruel bondage of Pharaoh. We know the plagues that ensued that happened to the children of Israel. We know about the flies. We know about the lice, the frogs. We know how Moses turned the water to blood. We know that that when what we call Passover came, that God instructed Moses to have the children of Israel to take and place blood over the door and over the lintel, on the post, and that all the Israelites that were under the blood, that the death angel would pass over them and they would not be harmed by the death angel. And of course the death angel came in that night and he killed all the firstborn, from the firstborn in Pharaoh's house all the way down to the very servants. And it was the very next morning that after the death angel came through that the children of Israel actually began their road to freedom. This is in part where the inspiration for the book that I'm working on now, called Yam Suph, actually in part came from this story. And I'm going to get more into that in just a little bit. But first I'd like to take a look at the actual word. I've made myself some notes there, but I don't think I necessarily have to go with these notes. But I want to take a look at the fact that the word, when the children of Israel began their journey, the journey actually takes them to a place that Moses called the Red Sea, or actually in the Hebrew language he called it Yam Suph. He didn't actually call it the Red Sea. I'd like to take real quick though, let's read this out of, I'll read out of the Christian Bible, the New King James Version, and I'm going to read from Exodus 15 in verse 22. It says, "So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur." That being from there, but when we read from the Torah, and I have a Chumash, it says in there, they actually translate the word Suph as reeds. Now, there's enough debate as it is just over the word Suph, and of course we're going to be, not only we're going to look just briefly into that, but we're also going to look also into the reason why the debate has come up as far as where the crossing of the Red Sea actually is. The word Suph, though, can be translated two different ways. It can be translated as the end, or as in some cases they call it the sea at the end of the world, or it can be translated as reeds. The reason, though, we find more often that it's translated as reeds is because, for one example, is the fact that when we read the story about Moses, when he is put into the basket, it is made from Suph, which is reeds. There's actually been an Egyptian basket found, or excuse me, yeah, an Egyptian basket found in one of the tombs in the 18th dynasty of one of Pharaoh's tombs in Egypt. And it was made of Suph. It was actually made of reeds, or I think that's papyrus as well, is another name for it. But the issue for writing the book called Yam Suph actually stems more from the debates of the actual crossing. And before we get deeper into the debate, I want to first actually take a look at the 5 locations that are the ones suggested, other than the actual place that I believe that they crossed, which would be the Gulf of Aqaba. But I want to take a look at the 5 locations as listed in the documentary called The Exodus Revealed that Dr. Moeller is a part of. So let's take a look at that right now.
Manzala to the north, Timsah, and the Great Bitter Lake. Another location, the dry bed that was once Lake Bala, has also been considered. The 5th possibility is on the northern end of the Gulf of Suez, at a beach whimsically named on tourist maps as Pharaoh's Bath. 3,500 years ago, each of these bodies of water would have been relatively shallow, ranging in depths from about 3 to 50 feet. However, no direct evidence has ever emerged at any of these traditional sites to confirm the Exodus narrative. Nor does their geography resemble biblical descriptions of the beach where Pharaoh's army confronted Moses and his people.
As you just saw on the film here, there are 5 locations that are suggested to be the crossing for the Red Sea. for the Red Sea crossing because of the term Yam Suph. Those 5 locations, though, as mentioned in the film, were clearly inside the borders of Egypt back there in the times of Moses. So really, from the biblical account, there's no way that we could actually use those 5 locations. Not to mention, if you want to look at some other biblical accounts, Lake Manzala, one lake that happens to be a very large lake, it is lined, if you've ever seen the pictures of it, is actually lined with reeds all the way around it. But the lake is only 4 to 5 foot deep. And so where would be the miracle? I mean, even if the water was parted, there's no way the water could be a wall to the right and to the left. Perhaps a banister maybe, but not a wall.